Look, you little bastard, either you march, or I'll beat your brains out. Understand? You know, anytime I watch The Dirty Dozen, I can't help but pretend I'm Lee Marvin for about 60 seconds. You know, Mike Perry here. Welcome to Mike'sTakeOnTheMovies.com. You know, a lot of people ask me, Mike, what's your favorite film? You're a film buff. You've seen all these movies. Which one is it? I have a standard answer. It's The Dirty Dozen. I'm not saying it's the greatest film ever made, but it's my favorite. You know, I probably saw it for the first time when I was about 10 years old. Watched it on late night television with my dad. And what's not to love? Lee Marvin, Charles Bronson, Jim Brown, Ernest Borgnine, John Cassavetes, giant Clint Walker in there. I mean, as a little kid, you're watching this movie, you gotta love it. The film is directed by Robert Aldrich, who's no stranger to tough guy films. Here's a guy that did Kiss Me Deadly in the 50s with Ralph Meeker, who's in this movie. Vera Cruz with Gary Cooper and Burt Lancaster, and a young Ernest Borgnine and Charles Bronson. Only director ever to team Bette Davis and Joan Crawford in the same film, Baby Jane, classic. So this guy could handle diverse personalities on screen. The film itself, the plot, Lee Marvin volunteered to take a group of convicts behind enemy lines, kill as many Nazis as he can in one night, and hopefully get the hell out of there alive. The film, 2.5 hours long. But it's only the last 45 minutes that focuses on the actual mission. The first hour and 45 minutes is character development. It's what makes the film so enjoyable, so lovable. You know, all these guys, diverse personalities, not getting along at times, and it's just a lot of fun getting to the finale. And don't underestimate that this film is funny. There's a lot of comedy to be had. Scenes like Donald Sutherland imitating a general, much to the dismay of Robert Ryan, who's in this film as well. If you love noir, you love Robert Ryan. There's a war games section in the film that's hilarious, where the group has to get together and take out Robert Ryan's headquarters. This film actually sets the blueprint for the group of men on a mission film. It had been done before, make no mistake, but this one, looking back, this is the one that sets the bar. Even today, films like The Expendables, Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds, they're looking to this film for inspiration. As far as trivia goes on this film, Jim Brown retired from football, arguably the greatest football player ever made, retired on the set of this film, decided to get into movies. Telly Savalas is in here. When you're watching the Last Supper scene, check out his placement if you already haven't. Donald Sutherland, who was pretty much new by the time this film came out. It's this film that got him noticed, you know. He does that scene where he plays the general, and that, according to him, that film got him MASH, looking forward. If you're a Walt Disney fan, Donald Duck's in here, okay, so you got to check it out for Donald Duck. Something else I like when I watch the film is the interplay between Charlie Bronson and Jim Brown. And this is 1967. When you get to 1970, these two guys, especially Bronson's huge, Jim Brown's making his own tough guy films, and I'm saddened that we didn't see them do a film together as stars, because they really got a good chemistry working here, so that's too bad. Our director, again, Robert Aldrich, moving forward to 1973, hired Lee Marvin again with Ernest Borgnine. They did a film that you got to check out, Emperor of the North. If you haven't seen it, must see. Okay. As far as Academy Award nominations go, John Cassavetes is in the film, got an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor, and strangely enough loses to his co-star in this movie, George Kennedy, for Cool Hand Luke. Let's not forget, 1967 was a great year for films. Cool Hand Luke, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Bonnie and Clyde. I mean, there's a lot of great films out there, and it's important to note that The Dirty Dozen is actually the #1 box office film of the year, as far as box office dollars go, I guess. I've heard over the years that John Wayne was offered the role of Major Reisman, but in a way, I love John Wayne, but this has Lee Marvin stamped all over it, and I'm glad Marvin's in the film. Marvin actually won his Academy Award for Cat Ballou during the filming of this film. I've also heard that Jack Palance was offered the Telly Savalas role, and that I can believe. Savalas, his role is a crazy religious fanatic, and Palance, I'd heard, didn't want to be typecast, but Jack had a history with Robert Aldrich. They'd done a couple films in the 50s, 10 Seconds to Hell and Attack. Attack is a great anti-war film if you haven't seen it. But the cast overall, let's not forget, we've got, if I didn't mention Clint Walker, one of my favorite character actors is in here, Richard Jekyll. Singer Trini Lopez. Robert Weber's great in this film. He hates Lee Marvin. They don't get along. And at the end of the day, as I always say here, is you haven't seen this movie, you need to check it out. I don't know what you're waiting for. It's one of the great films of the late 60s. And if you have seen it, well, Go watch it again. It's that enjoyable. And no matter what, whether you've seen it or not, don't tune out before you get to the very end when there's a great tagline from one of the tough guys who survives the mission. It's a great scene, great ending to the film. So once again, Mike Perry at mikestakeonthemovies.com. Thanks for checking out.